So as I'm driving down this road, I'm aware of the cars on the right-hand side, and I don't have a center line dividing the road, so I don't have a sense that I have to stay on my right side of the line, but I do want to stay on the right side of the road because I wouldn't want to meet uphill traffic. Hey guys, it's Jacqueline, and for the next few minutes we're going to work on answering some viewers' questions about how to stay centered in the road when there are no road markings. A lot of time when I'm driving in a traditional neighborhood that's set on a grid, it's really easy for me to see the stripes and the stamps that help me keep my positioning. But when I'm in a neighborhood that doesn't have clear lines marking the road, I have to trust my intuition and my understanding of the width of my car. The way that I establish my understanding of the width of my car is I'm very thoughtful about where I place my left foot. I always place my left foot on the left resting ramp, and I use my left foot to guide me while I'm driving. I also am really thoughtful about where I place my right foot. I place my right foot so that it's over the gas, because over the gas is where I need to be. Most of my time driving is with my foot over the gas. But I have to make sure that I can cover my brake and apply pressure when I need to. So I make sure that I plant my heel in a place where I can pivot and cover the brake. Of course, I'm also going to use my steering control, keeping my thumbs at 9 and 3, and just turning the wheel as I need to make sure that I match the curves of the road. So we're going to go out on some roads that are unmarked, and we're going to practice keeping our position by using our feet and our thumbs to give us perspective of the width of the road. So as I'm driving down this road, I'm aware of the cars on the right-hand side, and I don't have a center line dividing the road, so I don't have a sense that I have to stay on my right side of the line, but I do want to stay on the right side of the road because I wouldn't want to meet uphill traffic. So to keep that perspective, I use my left foot to guide me toward what feels like the midline of the road. And I can really feel how my left toes are pointing toward the middle. And that pointing of my left toes helps as I round this corner. I don't have any lines to mark the path, but I can still read the curve of the road and just let my left foot guide me through safely. I'm using my right eye and my awareness from the right side of the car to track the parked cars. And in this situation right there, because there was a parked car, I had to go over the double yellow line as I was approaching the intersection. So even though in a normal grid neighborhood, we always do a good job of staying to the right of any yellow line or double yellow line, in this space, I had to give a little bit of space because of the parked cars. And having that white truck come toward us was a really good example of why it's important to make sure that we're only taking up enough space to stay away from the parked cars, but we definitely don't want to go too far over to the left because we do not want to meet oncoming traffic. This is a one-way road, so it's easy for me to stay centered. I'm still using my left foot as my guide. It really gives me the sense of just where I'm headed. And then my right foot does its work to cover the brake and the gas, going back and forth depending on what's needed. And again, we're sharing space with oncoming traffic, so we had to give a little and go to the right. We want to be careful not to go too far to the right because we never want to accidentally meet a parked car on the right side of the road. So it really is about taking up just enough room, but not too much. So I'm having this experience as I approach the stop sign. I notice that the car's tires are over the letter P, which is normally where my car would take up space. So I know I'm going to have to give a little bit to the left, even though it means I'm over the double yellow line. I love how this corner is so nicely painted. I know exactly how far out to creep for the best visibility. Keeping my eye on pedestrians. Because the friend was crossing diagonal, I could make my right turn. But if that friend had been crossing in the designated crossing zone, I would have yielded to that friend to let them cross. So my thumbs give me a perspective of the width of the car. My feet give me a perspective of the width of the car. And that perspective is very important when I'm taking up space with other cars on what could be a narrow road. When the roads are painted, it's a little bit easier to know what side to stay on. But if we're in a space where there's no center line, we really just have to rely on our sense of the width of the car. And for me, that sense of the width of the car is absolutely developed when my feet are spaced perfectly and my thumbs are spaced perfectly. So a lot of times people will ask me, is it okay if I pull my foot back like this and hold it in? And I just think, well, it's not the proper seated position for driving, so it's not my advice to sit like that. But also I know that if my foot is over here, I don't have the same sense of direction of my foot guiding me around this corner. And I need my foot to give me perspective of the width of the road and how I'm going to fit through narrow spaces. So I like to keep my feet forward. I think it's the safest way to travel. So here we are on these narrow roads. They are unmarked, but we are safely passing through by using our perspective of the width of the road. And I really feel like the width of our thumbs and the width of our feet is what gives us that perspective of whether or not we're going to fit through a tight space. Now we're back to a road that is well marked. We've got the double yellow line on the left and the white line on the right to give us perspective and the width of the lane. But let's turn again onto a side road and just experiencing how now we have the parked cars as our boundaries. And we carefully navigate with our feet forward and our thumbs forward, trying to understand how we take up space even though there's no road marking. And sharing space with this car means we know how to stay to the right and they know how to stay to the left. Thank you very much for checking in today to do a little bit of work around how to understand how to stay centered on roads where there are no road markings. And I hope that you can see that that begins with your good seated position, using your feet and your thumbs to give you a sense of perspective about the width of the car and whether or not you're going to fit. And your goal is to stay away from the parked cars, but never taking up any more room than you need to, because around any corner or up and down any hill, there could be a car coming towards you in the opposite direction. Have a great rest of your day. Keep practicing, and I'll see you next time. If this video was helpful, please click like and subscribe. And of course, if there's a specific topic that you need help with, please drop a comment below and we'll make a video to answer your question. Thanks a lot. Bye.